Fred, can you please leave me alone? I'm tired and the only thing I can do is sit in this chair. Yes, I know I need to move my body, but what am I supposed to do if I can only sit in this chair? Fred's been getting on my case recently as I haven't been getting up out of my chair to do my daily movement, and he's getting tired of me complaining about back pain. Thankfully, in my back pocket, I've got a few exercises that I can do from my chair and just a couple that I can do while using a wall. So we've effectively got a whole body workout that we can do to keep ourselves healthy from the comfort of our own chair. I've mentioned this before, but being able to continue standing up is a critical skill to living independently. And so each and every day, let's try to go for 10 to 50 standing ups out of the chair. First things first, ears over shoulders over hips. Can we get our hips to the front of the chair? And can we get our knees as wide as we can? And what we're going to do is lean forward from the hips, not the back. We don't want to round the back. We want to keep our back nice and straight. And if we need to, we can push off against our knees just a little bit. And if you notice, as soon as I contact my thighs, it's a little bit easier to keep my chest upright. So I'm leaning forward until I feel the weight in my feet, and then I stand up, sit my butt back, hands on my feet to keep my chest up, and gently glide down. Can we get 20 to 50 of those? You might even be able to do those in sets of 5 or in sets of 10, take a break, and build up to a total of 20 or 50. Core strength is also very important to maintaining a pain-free back, as well as stability and balance. So we can start by doing some seated knee raises. We want to be able to bring our knee up one at a time, and you can do that with a bent knee or a straight knee. Always focusing on, as much as possible, a straight back, not a rounded back, and not an arched back. So I've got a good posture. I can grab the bottom of my seat to kind of hold myself in place and lean against the back of the chair. If we have a hard time lifting our whole leg, we can even just do toe raises, but really focusing on bringing the knee up, not pressing down with the foot. So can we get 10 on each side, either of toe raises, focusing on using these muscles here, or knee raises without keeping your foot on the ground. And then as we get a little bit stronger, we can slide our feet out and try to do straighter leg raises. Find the variation that allows you to do 10 and feel just a tiny bit tired when you're done. If we can go back and forth each leg 3 times for a total of 30 on each leg, that's a long way to maintaining a strong core. Sometimes when I'm trying to stand up, pushing on my legs just isn't enough. And it's nice to have an assistive device like a cane or oh, Fred, you read my mind. We can have a broom. I usually prefer it handle down for a little bit more stability. Sometimes we might need 2 brooms, but the principle is the same. I kind of scoot my hips towards the edge of the seat. I try to sit up nice and tall, ears over shoulders over hips. I'm going to plant the broom just a little bit in front of my feet to prevent any forward lean. Opposite hand on the knee to help straighten the spine. Lean forward and push off that broom to stand up. Same thing. How many can we do? Can we do 5 and take a break? That's wonderful. Once we're standing and we've got our broom, working on one-legged balance is critical to avoiding a fall and potentially a hip fracture. So one of my favorite exercises is holding on to a broom and with one leg, reach out with a straight foot until it looks like you're touching your toe. From there, if we pull our toes up, we can see that the heel is hovering just a couple inches above the ground. What I want to do here is maintaining an upright spine without bending over, I just want to bend my knee and lower my heel down until I'm touching the ground. Just nice and gentle. So what I'm doing here is building up one-legged balance and strength. Many studies have shown that the two main factors to preventing a fall and thus a hip fracture are leg strength and foot speed. We've already talked a lot about how to keep your legs strong and keep your balance up, but we also need to make sure that we're working on eye-foot coordination. Oh, thank you, Fred. How'd you know? One of my favorite games and therefore exercises that we can practice is wall kicks. Using a soft foam or inflatable ball, can we just gently kick the ball against the wall and catch it on the rebound to help make sure that we can coordinate our feet and our eyes while being seated so that we don't have to risk losing balance while we're working on speed. A few more exercises that we can do for our arm strength are some curls or shoulder raises. We may not all have access to dumbbells or weights in the house, but many of my patients do have access to some soup or vegetable cans. Ah, thank you, Fred. You can use whichever variety you like. Some of my stronger patients go for black beans. I'm currently at the level of coconut milk. So with bicep curls, as we're sitting, normal cue, ears over shoulders over hips, tight core, squeeze those shoulder blades together in the back, keeping our elbows tucked in at our sides. Just raise those vegetable cans. The elbow can work through 360 degrees, so we also want to make sure that we're going for external rotation with thumbs to the outside, and maybe we can do 5 with our thumbs straight up in a neutral grip, and we can rotate to internal rotation with our thumbs on the inside. See if we can get 5 repetitions in each position. External rotation or supination, pun intended, neutral, and prone or internally rotated. We also want to think about how to maintain our shoulder mobility and strength above horizontal or above the level of the shoulder. As we get older, it gets more and more difficult to reach overhead, but it's important to be able to do hygiene for the head and the face and upper body clothing. So when we get to the top of a curl, one thing that we can consider are raises and extensions. So we get to the top of a curl, our shoulder blades are organized, squeezed into the back, and they're down, they're not hunched up near our ears. We're going to gently extend our arms away from our shoulders until we get to a tension level that we can support. Some people get to about here or, 45 degrees at the elbows or the shoulders, and then we gently lower down under control. Can we do this with a 3 or 5 second pace? Bring it back up with a curl, extend as far as you can under control, under control, under control, and then slowly lower over a 3 to a 5 second count. Can we get 5 to 10 of those in every day? Shoulder stiffness is very common, and a great way to loosen those up and get some of the blood flowing are some shoulder swings and hangs. So as we're leaning over the chair for balance, we're letting the soup can gently pull our shoulder out of the socket. And then what we can do is 10 shoulder rows where we just pull the arm back up with a straight elbow. Down and up. Down and up. Thinking about also pulling our shoulder down and away from our ear. The more we let our shoulder come next to our ear, the more we pinch our rotator cuff. After we've done our shoulder elevations, we can also do some shoulder swings. Letting that soup can gently pull our shoulder down and make some space. We can do 10 counterclockwise repetitions and then 10 clockwise repetitions. You might even be spicy and do your clockwise ones first. As we're getting stronger, you might even consider doing a row. So as we pull the soup can up and our shoulder up, we can begin to bring our elbow up by our rib cage and pull our wrist in next to our hip. Can we get 5 or 10 repetitions of some soup can rows. I see a lot of neck pain, and in the spirit of doing a full body exercise, one thing we can do to keep those neck muscles supple and pain-free are some gentle neck extensions. Fred has been complaining a lot that his bony neck is getting in the way of him being able to stargaze. This is the one time where I think it's okay to slouch back into our chair, taking a slightly smaller soup can, in this case, hot tomato sauce. If we place it on the unicorn horn of our forehead, having just a little bit of weight allows your muscles to extend nice and gently until we get to the end of our comfort range, and then under control, we bring our head back up to neutral. Again, let the weight gently pull our neck back under perfect control with an even pace. We get to the end of our next particular range of motion, and then under control, bring it back to neutral. A lot of my patients say they do their daily neck stretching, but they typically don't make a lot of progress. And the reason for that is just stretching doesn't have enough of a stimulus to help the muscles get the blood flowing, loosen up, and get stronger. And in my experience, being able to get stronger is the best way to alleviate pain. Fred's also been wanting to work on his pectoralis muscles. He's a bit of an amateur bodybuilder, got a long way to go, but he's motivated. Being able to keep our upper body strong is just as important as keeping our legs strong. And while many of my patients do a daily walk, which is fantastic, unfortunately, that doesn't tend to work the strength needed to maintain our bodies to do daily activities such as lifting and carrying. So, a very simple exercise that most people can do if they have a wall are some wall push-ups. So, standing at about arm's length from the wall, with our arms kind of right at about the level of our nipples, we're going to keep our fingers up and keeping a good posture. I'm not sagging my butt. I'm not sticking my butt back. Nice and tall posture. And as I lean into the wall, I want my shoulder blades to stay down and back. I'm not letting my elbows flare or my shoulders hunch up next to my ears. I'm keeping everything nice and organized, shoulders down and back. And I go until I feel comfortable. If it's only a couple inches, that's great. Some people are able to kind of touch their forehead to the wall. Are you able to get 5, 10, 15? See if you can get a total of 30 each day.